Let's talk about the foreshadowing problem that is known as Snake Eye. Hey guys, Otaku here, back with another competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Discussion, and today I want to talk about Snake Eyes, and specifically Snake Eyes, not Fire King Snake Eye. But before we jump into the discussion, if you're not already and you like competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Content, consider subscribing and helping out the channel, and also don't forget to feed that everlasting hunger that is known as the YouTube algorithm, and make sure you like the video and comment down below any thoughts and concerns you have with today's discussion. So earlier this month, I made a video talking about my predictions for the March or April ban list for the current format, and of course I touched in the video the fact that I don't personally think they're going to hit Snake Eye Fire King or just Snake Eye in general because the cards are too new. And then I proceeded to talk about any possible hits if they did proceed to hit the deck. Which, by the way, if you haven't already, make sure you go watch that video as well. However, after that video, I've had more time to think, and realistically, just the ban list that's coming up is a big problem, mainly because we are currently in basically a tier 0 format and it's being ruled by Fire King Snake Eye or just Snake Eye in general, and realistically the only reason the Fire King deck works is because Snake Eye is pushing it forward. Also, not to mention, Snake Eye Pure is kind of the better version of the deck. It's just the Fire King version of the deck has more representation. But also, since that video, I've also had time to see other content creators talking about ban list predictions, and they're all kind of in the same boat that we don't really know where this deck is going to get hit, because on one hand you don't want to hit it too hard and kill the deck because, you know, it's brand new and you don't want people to have sank $1,000+ into this deck just for it to become irrelevant. But then on the other hand, the deck's clearly the best deck in the room by a large margin, so Konami has to hit it. But today I, of course, want to talk about the one-hand side of the spectrum, which is, of course, the arguments people are making as to why we can't hit this deck. The biggest argument I am seeing lately is people talking about, well, all these players sank $1,000+ into the deck, and we don't want to kill the deck that quickly. Bitch, shut the fuck up. Konami don't give a shit how much you spent on this deck. Most likely you bought the singles, which of course means that you didn't buy packs. You just bought product off of people that bought the actual product and had to pull that stuff. Konami's already made their money. They don't care how much you spent on these cards. At the end of the day, if you're buying a $1,000+ deck, you understand that you know what you're getting yourself into. In fact, if you've already bought the deck, most likely you know that all these cards, because of the ban list predictions and the ban list scares, a lot of the cards have depreciated and they're like $300 less for a whole deck of like Fire King Snake Eye. Like, it's no longer a $1,000 deck at the moment. You could pick it up for easily like $800, well, probably $800. Like, it's a lot cheaper right now. Of course, they don't want to piss off the fan base. If they just kill this deck entirely after they've sank $1,000+, they understand that you're going to be pissed and probably just drop the game as a whole. So they are going to love tap it. They're going to give a nice little love tap and try to keep you in the game. But you all have to understand that there is one reason, and one reason only, that they cannot kill this deck right out the gate. And that's simply because Snake Eye is currently still developing. It's not only a deck that's currently developing, but it's a whole lore story that's currently developing. And we have in Legacy of Destruction, which comes out later this year, like in a month, they have more Snake Eye cards. So they can't kill the Snake Eye deck, because if they do, then there's no reason to buy the later sets. So what Konami has to do here is they have to find a weird middle ground where they'll please the community just enough so the deck isn't just insanely powerful still, but they can still hit it in ways that the upcoming support can actually still make it better and kind of balance it out in a sense. So it's just a weird spot to be in. Other people are thinking that they're going to hit like the Fire King part of the deck, but that shit doesn't really matter because, like I said a minute ago, I think the pure version of Snake Eye is better than the Fire King half of the deck, and the Fire Kings are just more represented. So if they just hit that, then everyone's going to gravitate to Snake Eye Pure, and it's not going to do anything. A big argument here is, of course, is that the Snake Eyes and even the Fire King cards are still like incredibly new. If Branded was like the best deck right now, it'd be like really easy to hit it because Branded cards as a whole have been out for like 2-3+ years now. And it's just, they're not going to hit the brand spanking new shiny cardboard. The last tier 0 format that we were in was tier limits, and I'm sure as you all remember, we had to deal with tier limits as a whole for like a year, and then we had to deal with tier limit Ishizu for like 6 months. We haven't had Snake Eyes for that long. Not to mention, immediately after Tier, we had Kashtira, which wasn't a full Tier 0 format, but it was definitely the most dominant deck, and we, again, had to deal with that for almost a year. Usually the common trend lately has been the top deck that's running the format kind of lives its overstayed welcome for about a year until Konami completely butchers it so that they can sell the next best deck. But at the same time, with this ban list coming out really soon, they do have to acknowledge it in some way, shape, or form, so that way it's just not pissing everybody off. Now, I think the difference between Fire King Snake Eye or just Snake Eye Tier 0 versus like Tier Limit Tier 0 is that there's a lot less interactivity in this current format as opposed to the tier format. At the current moment, unless you're playing the mirror match, you're kind of just getting stomped over by Fire King Snake Eye, to the point where people have started playing Stun with Chowgin or Pachycephalo, or they're playing Branded with the Gimmick Puppet Lock. We're basically in a format where you're playing Fire King Snake Eye or just Fire as a whole, and you're playing a deck that stops it from playing. But like, that's honestly the reason why this ban list is so very like tough for a lot of content creators to kind of figure out what's going to happen here, because the cards are too new. The cards are a heavy lore archetype. The cards are just very powerful, and just it's going to be really difficult to predict where Konami's going to hit this deck. Everyone thinks that they're going to hit Original, they're going to hit Wanted, they're just going to ban Poplar. First off, they're not going to ban Poplar. Poplar just came out. If they're going to hit anything, it's going to be something from Agov. But that's really all I have for you guys today. It's a bit of a shorter video this time around, but I'm definitely curious what you all think. So comment down below what your thoughts are for just this overall format and realistically what they're going to do with the ban list in the upcoming weeks. But also, if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like on the video. But with that, I will see you all in the next video. See ya!